Hello, Mr. Chauhan.
Hello, Puneet. How are you?
I am great. Welcome to my show, Valor and Wisdom. You already know my name. My name is Puneet Singh Mehra. And today again we have a special guest, Jay Chauhan, who is the author of Love in Empire. Mr. Chauhan, I like your shirt, huh?
Thank you. Thank you. So I think, tell me, Puneet, what is the topic for today? You've done about 15 to 20 videos under the
Yes.
banner Valor and Wisdom on YouTube. Anybody can access it. So like the
Yes.
video, want to make a comment, please make it below. Our host is Puneet, and I'm the guest, Jay Chauhan from Richmond Hill, Ontario, Canada.
Yeah. So, to all my viewers, today again I'm going to tell you one more untold history of war, which was so buried that no one wants to discuss about it. Yes, I think everyone knows about the Umayyad Caliphate. So, what is Umayyad Caliphate, and what is the relation between the Umayyad Caliphate and India? So, Umayyad Caliphates come from the Arab, and slowly they start expanding their territories. So Umayyad Caliphate, they're starting their expansions to entire Saudi Arabia, to Middle East and Africa, and they also reach to the European some part of it. But what happened between the Umayyad Caliphates and India? That's important, and no one discussed about that part of story. So Umayyad Caliphate thought that they can conquer India by swords, but they forgot one thing, that India is ruled by Rajputs, and Rajputs are known for their valor. So if somebody think like what is a Rajput? So let me give you a small three-line story of Rajput. The one who bats against the edge of his sword is a Rajput. The one who bats against the ocean made of sand is a Rajput. And the one who keeps on fighting with his enemy even after his head is chopped off is a Rajput. So these are the Rajput who rules the India and protect our Dharma from all this invasion. So what happened during 691 to 700 BC, the Caliphate start expanding. They reach to every part of the country and they start persecuting all the native people. And some of them we know as from the Zoroastrians from the Persia who came to India because of the caliphates. So I'll tell you about the Umayyad Caliphate. Some of the big journals of Umayyad Caliphate are the Junaid ibn Abed al-Rahman, Tamim ibn Zaid Ali Utbi, Muhammad bin Qasim, and Al-Hakam ibn Ubaid. These are the top journals of Umayyad Caliphate. But I think they didn't know like they are entering into India. So what happened? Muhammad bin Qasim in 712 to 715 BC, he entered into the Sindh, and the Sindh was ruled by the king Raja Dahir. Raja Dahir defeated Muhammad bin Qasim twice, but what he did the mistake that every single time he let him go away. And the third time, Muhammad bin Qasim came with a huge force and defeated and killed Raja Dahir. Then he conquered Sindh. The temples were destroyed. Rapes, killing of males, forced conversion started, and they start killing every one of them. So some of the Sindhis who run away from the Sindh came to India. And today I'm going to tell you one more hero, Bappa Rawal. So they all came under the reign of Bappa Rawal, and they told every single story to Bappa Rawal. So who is Bappa Rawal? Bappa Rawal, actually his real name is Kal Bhoj. But how he get the title of Bappa Rawal, I will tell you later. So Bappa Rawal was the Rajputana king, and he was you can say he's the founder of the Sisodia clan, and he rules in the Mewar. And I think nobody knows that the Bappa Rawal is the great founder of Maharana Pratap, Maharana Sangram Singh, Rana Kumbha, Rana Hamir Singh. They all are the same bloodline of Bappa Rawal. So afterwards, Muhammad bin Qasim, when he conquered Sindh, he tries to enter India from the northern side, which today we know as the Jammu and Kashmir. But Muhammad bin Qasim forgets that time Jammu and Kashmir ruled by the king Lalitaditya. And Lalitaditya defeated Muhammad bin Qasim 3 times. And the 4 times, Muhammad bin Qasim ran away from the battle. Then later, Muhammad bin Qasim joined with Al-Junaid in 723 BC to 726 BC. They thought they were undefeated, but then they met Bappa Rawal, the king of Rajasthan. So Bappa Rawal already heard about the atrocities happens to Zoroastrians and the Sindhis. So that thing really created a fire inside the Bappa Rawal. And Bappa Rawal is one of the biggest devotees of Lord Shiva. So when the Umayyad Caliphates tried to enter India from Rajasthan, what they did, they bring a huge army and they surrounding Chittor. So Chittor is a state in Rajasthan. But Bappa Rawal, he completely maneuvered them and surprised him and attacked them from all the sides. And the Arabs were so badly defeated in that battle that again they run away from that battle back to their own Umayyad Caliphate. And thus the Bappa Rawal became the fearless warrior on that battle. Then later, Bappa Rawal decided to taught them a strong lesson to this Umayyad Caliphates. So what Bappa Rawal did, he pursued Muhammad bin Qasim to Saurashtra. Its ancient name is Saurashtra. Today we known as the Balochistan or Sindh. And battle Arabs in western banks. And Bappa Rawal and his sword, it was so fearless that Bappa Rawal defeated all the Arab invaders. And later, Bappa Rawal also marched to Ghazni and he defeated the local ruler Salim and nominated his own representative before returning to Chittor. And later he came to India. And it is also said that Bappa Rawal also expanded and conquered Khorasan, Turan, Kandahar, Iran and made a vessel out of them. It is said. Then later again Umayyad Caliphate didn't learn their lesson. Then in 731 to 740 BC, Al-Hakam, the general of Umayyad Caliphate, again he tried to enter India with a large number of military forces and tried to do a jihad. So what all the Muhammad bin Qasim, Al-Junaid and Al-Hakam, they sent a letter to India and informed that either you convert to Islam or die. But none of the Indian kings, especially the Rajputs, didn't even care about it. And he told to the Al-Hakam, you can come to India and we'll see. Then later when Al-Hakam in his Arab army entered India, they was crushed by Nagbhatta. Nagbhatta was one of the most powerful kingdom. So that time India was ruled by 3 powerful kingdoms. The first one is the Gurjara, the second one is Rashtrakutas, and the third one is Paramaharas. These 3 triangles are the death triangle on that time. Nagbhatta, when he defeated Arab invaders, but Arabs came with more bigger forces. Then later, the powerful empire, the Cholakya Empire, also joined into the battle. And Cholakya defeated Arab so badly. The defeat at the hands of the Cholakya is believed to have been a blow to Arab forces at large cost in men and in cost. But still, the Umayyad Caliphate didn't learn their lesson. Then again, they tried to enter India. But this time again, Bappa Rawal was there. So Bappa Rawal in 734 BC to 753 BC, he joined again all the Indian kings and they go and fought against the Arab invaders. And this time, Bappa Rawal promised himself that he's going to put an end to them. Nagbhat also bring his powerful army and he defeated Arabs from India in 738 BC. On the north, Lalitaditya was also manages to defeat the Arab invaders and to all the Umayyad Caliphates. And from the bottom, the Cholakya and the Rashtrakutas, they also manages to defeat Arabs and protect the Sanatan Dharma. The expansion of Umayyad Caliphate was so badly ruined and crushed and defeated by the Rajput king that the Umayyad Caliphates never dared to attack India for more than 300 to 400 years. The balanced power of these three empires create a magnificent fears among the Umayyad Caliphates. Then later also in 776, the Arabs also tried to invade India through navals, but also defeated by the Sandhava. So this is the untold history which was buried for a long period of time. And not to forget about the Bappa Rawal. And if you don't know about the Bappa Rawal, in Pakistan there is one state named Rawalpindi. Rawalpindi stands for what? Bappa Rawal, because he manages to defeat them. And if you don't know, the real name of Bappa Rawal is Kal Bhoj. So how he get the title of Bappa Rawal is that when Bappa Rawal manages to defeat Arab forces and the Umayyad Caliphate from Sindh and Afghanistan, the Pakistan, whatever money he got, he spent all the monies to the people, to their culture, to their respect, to their families. Either they are Sindhis, they are Hindus, they are Buddhists, they are Jain. So those people, they give him the title to Kal Bhoj was Bappa Rawal. And Bappa means father and Rawal means royal. And complete sentence is a royal father. So this is the untold history which was buried for a long period of time. And the most interesting part is that no one even talk about it. I don't know why. I think Umayyad Caliphate doesn't want to listen the truth that they were defeated by the Indian kings when they tried to expand to India. And to all my Indians, always remember who your heroes are. Lalitaditya of Kashmir, Nag Bhatt, Rashtrakutas, Jaya Bhatt, and the most powerful and the fearless Bappa Rawal. So these are the heroes that today in India we have a religion named Hinduism, which we know as a Sanatan Dharma. Sikh, Jain, Buddhists, Parsis, Jews, which they flourish happily in India because of these people. So Mr. Chauhan, what do you think about this part of history?
Impressed, Puneet, at your young age, you are digging history extremely well.
Yeah.
How do I understand all these names of Muhammad bin Qasim, Umayyad Caliphate, etc., etc.?
Yes.
First, I want to give you my background, how I heard your story, not only in this particular episode of which is intended to be about Umayyad Caliphate and how he was defeated in 738 BC, but I want you to understand how I understand the history. So let me begin by saying actually my background. I am an Indian born as a British subject when Tanganyika was a colony, became Tanzania as it is known today. So our teachers, including Mr. Knight, who came from England, very good teacher, taught us the English literature, the story of Shakespeare, Julius Caesar, and we learned their language, we learned their culture, and also began to acquire their bias to understanding history. But as I read more history, so in other words, there was no history taught to me as an Indian or born in Africa, the African history, or European history, none of them was taught. So a lot of the history that I picked up is people like you and my reading. When I started reading about religions and history in my studies in Germany, actually, in a town called Munster. And there was an encyclopedia that I picked up Collier's Encyclopedia to be precise. And I looked at it. So I want the audience to understand, first of all, when I became, by the way, a lawyer in 3 countries. I was a deputy judge in this country. My background is both in economics and law, and I still practice as a lawyer. So my perspective history has been shaped by my studies, mostly in Europe. And then I want to explain to you actually that when you portray a lot of names, Bappa Rawal, etc.,
Yes.
in the date 738, how do you understand these dates, etc.? So this broader picture of history is important to understand. So all these people that you describe, essentially from my point of view, to get a perspective of history, were Arabs, Persians, is attracted these people. When they came, they wanted to conquer. And the tradition was, it has been until the present time, which China is now trying to follow. If you become a power, you conquer other people. Alexander did this thing.
Yeah.
And the second element of their history is you bring your power, defeat the enemy, and impose your civilization on another civilization. Hinduism did not do that. And therefore, most of the historians, when they teach history by numbers of dates and the times of when it happened, most people forget how to analyze the history to understand the forces of what civilization we try to bring this world to. And they go by the names and the dates as you're doing, and usually makes very boring history. So most people don't study that. I will tell you the secret. When I was studying in LSE, London School of Economics, for my economics degree, one subject I failed was history. It didn't make sense. But today it makes sense. I got my degree, by the way.
Because of me.
You also see the perspective that we have to get away from the names and numbers. So first of all, we say 738 BC. What does that mean? Many of your audience might not even know actually that what BC and AD actually mean, how to put that all the numbers in perspective. The European civilization based on Christianity basically started with Christianity. So BC stands for before Christ, 2,000 years ago, but after Christ. So your date of 738 BC has to be understood in the context of 700 years before Christ was even born. So we had civilizations actually in India, Harappa, that we talked about, and we talked about how it compared with Egyptian civilization. To put the picture in perspective is important. So now we see these people who were Muslim people from Arab, Persia, Afghanistan. And it's important to remember the Muslim religion was founded in 600 AD.
Yeah.
And it started expanding.
Yes.
When they expand, they're also watching another civilization of India with prosperity, silk, spices.
Gold,
and then they're
diamond.
attracted. Yes, gold, diamonds, attracted, as Europeans were. Having said all, essentially in Indian history, it is not important to know the exact date and the names, but to understand how the outside people came to India. And India had a religion of Hinduism, which, as you pointed out, is Sanatana Dharma, which is a religion of tolerance. And yesterday I watched the Dhyanand Saraswati speech in 1893 in Chicago, fluent English, and explained that this is one religion of tolerance, not a religion of expansion, conquest. So other religions have found answer in conquering the world. The world has been conquered. There's no more place to conquer in the world. And each countries and major powers have got nuclear weapons, so that you're not going to be able to conquer new territory. So all the maneuvers that China is doing, Russia is asserting their personality in the military history, has to be seen in the context of the modern technology and the fact that all the powers, all the land area of the world has been taken. And the only way we can move forward in the civilization is to understand each other. And the method of understanding each other and accepting other people's views is the Hindu way of tolerance. And Indian people, they were last who came to India not through Khyber Pass, but through Bombay and now called Mumbai,
Yeah.
by ship around the state of Good Hope in South Africa, and then to Mumbai where they established and started trading. And there, of course, we've made this program before to explain that this trading happened with their own agreement they made in 1614, if you like the date. With Jahangir of India made a deal with James of England that will let you trade. So we are today in a different world, and the main thing that I understand from your program is that the Muslim people came through the north part of India and established a civilization of we are first time understanding the world as confident people that we make contribution and we want to make contribution to the rest of the world history through the Hinduism in the principles of Hinduism. I'm not very religious, but I do understand that people, when they settled down in communities about 8 to 10,000 years ago, religion was necessary. But the force uniting us and organizing us is law, which is what I did as a career for that reason. And now we have to organize societies around the legal system. But the legal systems are national, and everybody is ignoring the world United Nations, and that's why the chaos. So this history should portray to us not only what happened, but what we can do now. And that's my interpretation of the history of the program today. Thank you so much.
No worries, Sean. And to every Sanatan Dharma, remember, you are the son of lions. So always keeps your heads high. Because of you, and many people, Sean, many people ask me, despite all this invasion, how in this world we have a religion name Sanatan Dharma or okay Hinduism, Sikh, Buddhist, Jain, Parsis, not because of the literature was there, but because of these warriors who fought against back to back, and none of them never give up, none of them never go down their head, they fought against, and today we have a religion name. So Sanatan Dharma, always remember and remember your Dharma. Okay, Mr. Chan, take care. See you,
Okay,
Sean.
see you.